Yeah, GG.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
GG.
I'm not putting that in the video, so it's fine.
We've got a game on our hands, man.
Welcome back to the Jimbo Show. We have an AMA with Grant, and I am super excited to get into all things Illuvium PVP. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. And this was a long time coming.
Yeah,
Now that we have a game, I think I've got the motivation to do this more often because there's just going to be way more content around the game. I'm like, it's very tiring having to think about answering the same old questions over and over. And now there's some juicy questions arising on whether the game's good or not.
yeah. I have one at the end. I think you'll really like it. But yeah, I've been playing PvP. It's been super fun. You just spanked me. I'll admit. We played a game and it didn't go my way. It is what it is, but it's very fun. It's very fun, very strategic.
Yeah.
What has been the community sentiment and reaction to Illuvium PvP now that we've had the tournament and people have been seeing it more and more and seeing what it has to offer? What have you seen from the community and maybe even people outside of the community and their thoughts on PvP so far?
I've seen exactly what I thought I was going to see. A couple of comments of like, this would be nice to have, and maybe the game could be a little bit better with, this here or there, things that are already planned from our side. But the overwhelming feedback I've seen has been massively positive, which we've worked a long time on this. This wasn't just something we rushed out. And I think this is why the community needs to understand why we take time on things, because we really QA tested, made sure that the game mode was complex enough. And I've got to hand it to Aaron and Ben on that, because for a long time, I thought the game was way too complex, like way too complex. We literally had arguments about like, dude, this is getting a bit crazy here. Like, not all of us are, 700 IQ weirdos.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, realistically, you just got to get through that first couple of days.
Yep.
And you're in. Then you're in. Then you start seeing the strategy involved. And I'm even starting to have thoughts of like, is there enough? Like, I want the other 20 characters we've got still to put in just to see how crazy things can get. Because I don't know how many games you've played. I've seen a lot of different strategies. I've seen a lot of wild swings. It's just been really fun.
Yeah, I have had so much fun, and I've not played too many games, but from what I've seen, it's like the back and forth is actually kind of there. Once the meta fills out, we'll see where we end up there, but that's just a balancing thing. It'll be fine. Eventually, people are gonna find that one deck right now that's just incredible, but without understanding it, it'll get balanced. So you're not that good, but yeah,
dude. Wow, I can't believe we actually got a game out. What the hell?
Dude, and not only that, it's actually really good. Like, we've been saying for years, these crypto games, they're shit. They just are. They're all so bad. And now we finally have a triple A. Art's perfect. Gameplay's fun, dude. I am so excited. I'm not trying to glaze right now. I'm not. I'm just like, the game is actually super good. And I think it's reflecting that sentiment in the community. It's awesome.
Finally.
Excited. What is actually, speaking of that, this wasn't on my questions, but how does it feel to finally have the game out and to get such a positive reaction? I'm sure it feels incredible.
I wouldn't call this, let's not jump the gun a little bit too early, because, 300 people testing versus 10,000, 20, 50, 100,000. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's looking good. It's looking really good. Like, it feels great, man. I can't explain to you. You know what? Actually, kind of like, I got pretty emotional yesterday about it in the leaks. The dad who posted his son's drawing, because like a week ago, my mum sent me a drawing of a Pokemon I did when I was like 10 years old. And I'm like, not only like the game had to be good for all the other stuff to come. The game had to be good so that we could get funding to do Netflix, so we could do a movie, so we could do merchandise, so we could get kids jumping into it, and all the other crazy stuff that for me is more fun than just the auto battler. And now, like, for years, it's just been like, oh, are we crazy? Is this going to actually happen? Are we going to get there? And now I feel like, yeah, like we're going to get there. Like, we're going to have plushies. We're going to have stuff flinging out left, right, and center.
It's so fun. Like, even hearing you talk about it, like, the hairs on my arms are standing up. I've been following the project for so long and seeing, like, it come to fruition. Obviously, there's so much work to be done, but, like, it feels so good, and finally to shut up those fucking idiots that have been talking shit for so long.
You could have been ridiculed by your friends, family. If the game just was turned out to be just another shitter crypto game. Imagine just like I think early on we were saying it can't fail. It just has to be good. It just has to be good. And we're not out of the woods yet. Overworld still needs to, you know what? There's actually been people testing Overworld saying there's some big improvements too, which, I mean, we get really scared with Overworld because it hasn't had as much love as Arena. But like, if we can prove to everyone that Arena's good, everyone can trust us with Overworld. I feel like that's easier to get right because the blueprint, we're not trying to innovate as much on that. It's just got to have the foundations there. So it's less complex to do Overworld good than it is to do this Auto Battler good, and have the Auto Battler not be a clone of TFT. I really don't think anyone who plays TFT can jump into this game and go, oh, they just cloned it with different graphics or something. Strategy's different. The feel of the game is different. The little mind games back and forth are different. Like,
yeah. In TFT, at the end of the game, like, sometimes there's no kind of movement that you can do to change the outcome of the game at all. But with Illuvium PVP, there's such, like, small hexes that you can move your characters. It makes a huge difference. It is actually kind of annoying sometimes, but
do you know that was actually my idea on a call with Aaron?
really,
Yeah, we had blockouts done in the same format as TFT with just like
yeah,
the 16 placement hexes.
yep.
And I remember seeing that with Aaron, going like, see, this is the best part about not being an auto battler person. I was like, like, why did we make these characters if you can't like put them places? And they pulled it back on me a little bit because I wanted the board to be not just a perfect rectangle and have two back areas.
Okay.
But then they said that was too complex. But little things like that I'm really proud of, because there's a couple of things in the game that, like, just like the free roam camera, hex placement, that I like see now unfolding, and I'm like, yeah, like, I'm
Wow,
not stupid.
that's really interesting. It kind of reminds me of, like, when a band is writing music, one person doesn't know music theory, but sometimes they can write that riff or that melody that sounds incredible, but it doesn't make sense. But now it does make sense. You know what I mean? It's that's crazy. I had no idea that you were the one that came up with that, but that's huge for esports and competitive in general. I think that's a crazy story, actually. What an
Just
insane thing.
the team has put together a whole bunch of ideas, because early on, we weren't saying to ourselves, how do we copy TFT? It's like, how do we make it better than TFT? TFT exists. If people want to go play it, they're going to play TFT. So you got to throw some stuff out there. Yeah. For me, it was just graphics and a couple of nuanced things. Like, I'm more of a sci-fi fan, to be honest. I knew that, okay, if we can tack into the sci-fi audience, is there a sci-fi auto battler out there? Like, there's a lot of fantasy genre auto battlers. I don't know of a sci-fi auto battler, so that can instantly kind of pull a different type of audience in. But man, have you seen the guy streaming today on Twitch? So like 150, 200 people watching. He's been streaming for 8 hours straight.
Really?
A guy from Brazil, TFT Pro, apparently, like TSG was telling me, like, he's
Probably
like,
shredding, eh?
he's not shredding.
Really? He's
Not
getting shit
shredding. I
on.
think I not. I he's just sitting there. He's just
Yeah.
testing, testing. So
That's interesting.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff over the next few days, and like on the 28th when this drops, wowee.
Yeah, I think Twitch is gonna be flooded with people playing PvP
I hope
Arena,
so.
and
I hope so.
I think it's actually going to be a very good game to engage with the audience while you're playing as well, because the games are so short, but they're so, like,
Yeah.
impactful and intense.
Yep.
You can read
Yep.
chat in between
Yep.
games, and it's not like this long
Yep.
drawn out thing that you have to pay attention to the game for. But speaking of that, you we touched on Overworld a bit, and I remember in your Artemis or in the AMA you did with Artemis, you were talking about
Yeah, yeah.
the card pack opening thing, which
Yeah.
I have been someone to say that I'm sure you probably don't like it, but I enjoy that fact. Like, but I don't understand why the community doesn't like it, because from my perspective as a streamer, you just go in, you find a cool alluvial. It's like a just chatting stream, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're there with a dark hollow ramfire. What was the thought process behind maybe we should add more to this? Because I think people are underselling how good that game could be in the state it's in right now. But you guys want to go even further beyond. You guys are kind of the psycho a little bit, but what was that thought process, and was that just because of community feedback, or had you always planned for this and this and this to be in the overworld?
We never planned for Overworld to be what we're developing right now. From day one, the blockchain element was what was going to make it like unique. Because I can go into Pokemon, even if the gameplay is not as good as Pokemon, I don't feel like I own it. I don't feel like I got it
Sure.
in the digital realm. So and just remember 3 years ago when the project started, crypto was the big thing, right? Let's just make a good game, which Aaron was going to put all that effort into the auto battler. Like he had a massive game design plan for that, and that was going to be the really competitive aspect. And then the overworld was just, all right, how do we get people in? And so they have teams using the overworld, and it wasn't meant to be this like massive blown out thing with the hunting and fighting alluvials with weapons and chasing them through wakes and stuff like that. That's what the community wanted, and I'll be totally honest with you, as we were developing, that's what I started to want too. I think we just there are people who will just happily grind to get what they want and then just go into arena. Like, you might be more of an arena person. Not everyone is like that, and I would say I don't disagree with you. I think if we hook blockchain up, it's a totally different game. But I just think some people just want a little bit more fun out of the experience. It's not just about grinding to own stuff and then go into arena. We've got to bridge that gap. And so I'm on the side of the people who want more out of it. And we're just trying to make really smart decisions internally about how we do that without dragging out development times. We've moved to a prototyping workflow where instead of us saying, all right, this is what we're doing and we're going to get it polished, we just whack together concepts and then we can say it's not good. We didn't do that for the first year and a half, and that cost us a lot of time, and it's just one of the learning experiences as a studio. But we are evolving as a studio, and those decisions that we could look back on and say were slowing us down are made less and less.
Yeah. Uh, Kind of moving away from overworld, we'll get back to PvP a little bit.
Sure.
Specifically mobile. What do you think the importance of mobile is, and has there been any progress made in the development of the mobile version of Arena? Because I think, especially in Web3, there's tons of
Yep.
gamers, especially in
Yep.
the Eastern Asian countries, that
Mm-hmm.
just only use mobile. And I
Yep.
think this game is actually so good for mobile. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
TFT mobile is really good, and I think this game is set up even better for that, and it's competitive. It has that NFT blockchain integration for those kinds of people. So what's your
Mm-hmm.
take on that, and where are we at in the development with that?
It's absolutely critical. The idea of going through the PC side of things was trying to hit a niche market, but like capturing it fully. You go into the mobile market, there's so much competition. It's like, how do you separate yourselves from the pack when you have limited graphics and there's, whereas what we did by going to PC was make a game that was visually stunning and that gets people who were typically shitting on crypto projects for having bad graphics and not looking like a big project to look at it and go, well, actually, maybe this one has hope. Just a psychological thing, because the logical thing would have been to just go straight to mobile. But when you're fighting that uphill psychological battle where everyone's going to look at a mobile game and go, oh, it's just another crappy crypto mobile game, I don't know. I don't think there was a lot of glory in that, to be honest. At least that's from my perspective. I think there's a bit more glory capturing the people who are playing TFT on PC and then branching out. We have done, to answer your question about where we're at with development, we have done a bunch of internal testing to see how we can port assets over to mobile. And we even had a studio testing out that process so we could compare how long they were taking versus how long we were taking internally. We have some estimates that I'm not 100% comfortable sharing yet because it was preliminary, but I really do think that the council and the community should be pushing for that at this stage, moving into next year, because it is going to be critical. Because until we knew the game was good, it wasn't wasted effort doing it early.
Yeah, I'm excited to be able to just be on the toilet shitting, playing Illuvium PVP. You know
Knew
what I
you were
mean?
going to say that. I knew you were going to say
It
that.
set me up. I got it.
I I'm with you, bro. I'm with you now. Like, now that the game's fun, I like playing games on PC. I like playing it on my massive monitor. But then I'm like, oh, my back's hurting. I'm old now. Like, we've been making this game for 10 years. Like, I go sit in bed and I'm like, all I've got is chess now. Like, yeah,
It's just so comfortable and
mm,
convenient to play it on
yeah.
your phone, you know?
We got to do it, man. We have to do it now. I'm behind it. I was a little bit like, let's get the game in a good place first, and then worry about other stuff on top of all the other stuff we're doing. But yeah, I think if the game's fun, mobile just takes us to wacko territory.
Yep, I'm excited for it. Um, so what was the thought process behind going all gameplay or like 99% gameplay for the PvP hype trailer? It looks incredible, by the way. And why did you believe you needed to be the one working on it?
So, firstly, it's not just me working on it.
Sure, sure.
Obviously it's the entire team's work, because the game, I don't know if you remember those early AMAs. We were branding it as a cinematic auto battler. And TFT, I never once, I've watched TFT streamers for 30, 40 hours in a row over a few days early on, just to get into the headspace of one of those
Mhm.
players. I was like, this game is boring as shit to watch. There's
Yeah.
nothing cool about it. I'm stuck at the exact same camera for 7 hours straight, watching this guy just do the same thing with the same units. Like, no, like, we need to be able to get in there so that people like you who are having fun with the game can actually make interesting content around events. You're hosting tournaments. Do you want to do like a highlight reel of the battles that took place, clutch moments in the game? You want to be able to see that stuff. And so we were branding it as a cinematic auto battler, and we're still working on the internal tech to be able to like do replays in game and
Yep.
have some of that functionality that Dimitri and I have in the developer mode, where we can like set cameras up and stuff like that. But the game is now finally ready. We made that trailer from one battle. We proved that by posting, there were even some people saying it's pre-rendered again. And to be completely transparent, the thing we do when we do those is Unreal Engine has terrible anti-aliasing, and that's like the jagged edges and the blurriness, like the crispness you don't get in real time. And so we render it through Unreal's renderer, which will just do higher sampling. But the game was the game in that trailer. We didn't adjust character animations, we didn't adjust VFX, we just rendered out the game. The Leviathan, slightly different. It's still in the game. Like, it still could look like that just without sampling. But yeah, I mean, that hype trailer, it wasn't meant to be like some like tutorial or anything. It was just meant to be, we're like a week out, let's just get people freaking out about the game. So Dimitri and I love doing that stuff. I've been making hype trailers for crappy modded tournaments in Mountain Blade 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So it's like, it's in me to try and do that stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't really. I saw a few comments about how like, oh, it was so short. What was this? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? I don't know what people were expecting. That's exactly what it was supposed to be. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, like maybe they thought that. I know there was a couple of comments that thought that was our cinematic trailer that we've been
oh,
working on
okay,
for over a year. Like, and I can understand
yeah,
if you had that misconception, then yeah, like, what the hell was that?
that's a good
But it
point.
was just Dimitri and I. realistically should have had 2 weeks to work on that trailer, but because we're developing the tech to be able to record battles and play them back while this team is updating the game as well, it made things a little bit hard, and we ended up only having like 3 or 4 days to get that out once the tech was there from Carlos. So we just kind of hit the wall running with that, trying to get something out that we thought the community would get hyped about. I mean, is it our greatest work ever? No, but it's the first time where we made a cinematic out of a single battle in the game. I think that's a pretty massive milestone. And if I can do it, the community can do it too.
Yeah, because the first thing that I thought of when I was watching it was I was thinking I watched League of Legends esports pretty much religiously,
Mm-hmm.
and between matches they'll have like the close-up cinematic views of the plays that happened inside of the game. My brain instantly went there. So speaking of that, I don't mean to keep prying on like when's this, when's that, when's this, but do you have, as someone who's going to be running tons of tournaments, wants to be on the
Sure.
esports side of stuff, but not actually competing, organizing, whatever, where would we be at with that, the different camera angles inside of the game or spectator mode in general?
We're not going to have it for open beta. I think there are more important things for us to do. Like,
Yep.
obviously, whenever these releases come out, first thing is like we need leaderboards. We need an admin mode. Like, let's just get an admin mode in. Right now, we don't have that, and Johnny has confirmed that that's not a huge undertaking. This happens every single time we do a release. There's like a short list of 3 things that we're like, all right, they instantly go to the top of the priority to get in, so that if you're making a tournament, you can cast it from an admin point of view. Will it be the same as like a cinematic replay that knows when they're like to algorithmically calculate when there was high damage dealt and deaths and area kills and things like that? I don't know. It's all definitely possible. And even if it's not possible to programmatically get a replay system in that covers everything, we will give players eventually the ability to just record and render out their own cameras. We have to. We have to,
Mhm.
because like Rocket League did it, and the moment they allowed content creators the ability to do that, you're just seeing crazy sequences and intros to creators' videos popping up, tournaments having massive cinematic cutscenes from in the game. Is Epic Games doing that? No, that's all community driven, and we need that ability to separate ourselves from TFT. I'm never watching a game of TFT again in my life if I can help it. Ever. It is
No.
so boring.
Yep.
So boring.
Compared to Illuvium, it's like night and day. I'm telling you. I think it's not just TFT as like a game. It's also the fact that there's 8 players. It's super hard to follow. How are you going to watch an esports tournament like that? But when it's one-on-one
Mm.
and there's competitive, RNG is limited. I mean, there's still RNG, but it's limited. Like this game is, I'm sorry, this game is built for esports. I don't see a way that if this game isn't successful, the esport for it doesn't blow up. We are going to
Hmm.
blow teamfight tactics out of the water. It's going to be pathetic.
How do you see the tournament structures going? Like the actual, because this is something I don't even have an answer for. I don't know how to do it. Like if you a tournament for world championships, how is the bracket run? What's the 1v1 like? Is it like, how do you see it going?
I think it's too early to say that. We have to figure out what the meta is and how the game shapes up to be, because there could be banning phases of different decks. We could have a best of 3 or best of 5, depending on the game length. Therefore, the best person
Hmm.
always moves forward, generally speaking. There's so many different things to account for. But I would say, like, something similar to Smash, where it's like a double elimination, which what we're doing with Illuvium Inferno, because I'm a genius. But yeah, something like double elimination, I think would be really fun to watch, because then you can see people who go through the lower bracket. But again, I think it is genuinely too early to tell, as boring as an
You,
answer as that
you
is.
know, I just had an idea as I was thinking about how I could see it going. Maybe we do like the augments, a deck phase, a bidding on the deck, and you can like take points off the enemy's deck to prevent them getting it, but you only have so many. So you go into the game with 3 decks each and have to
Okay,
bid. I don't know, maybe so that
that's
like each round, if you get smashed with that deck, all right, clearly next round I'm just like taking it off that. But now maybe they have, I don't know. There's some cool things we can do to incorporate there. Like
yeah.
we're really going to need the community to step up now and start there's no more speculating anymore. You're in the game. It's like, what do we want this game to become? Because if the community comes up with cool ideas, this epoch coming up, I really want to push, now that we have a game, that the community starts making more decisions about where the game goes. Like, that would be cool for me to see. Seeing community run a tournament, something doesn't go right, and then an IRP coming through, and then bang, it's now we're doing it. That would be sick.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about being in a DAO. As someone who's played RuneScape forever, there's changes that were made into the game where we lost half of the player base. But if we had a DAO, these stupid changes from these really intelligent people that I love, they wouldn't have went through, and the game would still be in a good shape. That's why I have so much faith in Illuvium. And at first I was kind of like, DAO, why do we need that? We have these people who know way better than the community. But especially after working on the council, it's like, this is very important, actually, because it's not just like we're holding labs accountable. It's more that, like, we want to give them our perspective as well, so that everybody's winning. And speaking of that, actually, being on the community sub council, I have noticed a trend in Web3 gaming where, from my perspective, there seems to be far more investors in the Web3 gaming space, and sometimes in the Illuvium community. A lot of the community doesn't always seem to realize that we should build for gaming, not just the NFT or crypto space. What have been the challenges you have had to overcome when it comes to appeasing the mostly investor-based community for PvP, or do you disagree with that take entirely?
Man, it's just where it gets really, because I totally agree with you. We've obviously had many discussions internally about, like, we have a massive community, but how much of our community are diehard investors versus diehard gamers? How much thought do we put into some of the ideas being pitched by a community where the game's not even out yet? Like, realistically, man, I just think this thing's got to evolve, and we have to trust the decentralized process, because I'm all for that. I'm with you, man. I've had games I've played pre-betas. I've been a part of pre-betas where the game was just perfect, like balanced. Everything was sick. Like Warband, Mountain Blade Warband back in the day. I was on the beta for that. Now this is an ancient game. The game was amazing. Balance, amazing. 2 weeks later, they come out of beta, totally changed a whole bunch of stuff, removed certain weapons and things like that. The game sucked. And everyone who was hyped for that pre-beta was like, how do we keep playing the pre-beta? Well, you can't, because now access is revoked to those servers. Game over. And you're like, if that happens in Illuvium, I'm excited to see the community just go, nope, no. Like, I don't care what Grant says. I don't care what Aaron says. I don't care what Ben says. Community hates it. It has to go. And I really hope this epoch, now that we've got a game, that we can start seeing those changes. That to me would maybe be one of the critical turning points where people in Web 2 go, right. Because if we get a bunch of Epic Games players who just have no idea about crypto, play the game, and then something sucks in the game, and then all of a sudden, like, a patch comes out and we put that patch up on the homepage of the Illuvium loading screen saying IIP blah 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 has been passed in this patch. We've updated this based on community feedback, etc., etc. That starts happening. Like, how can you hate on that process?
Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly, I think it's going to save gaming, like DAOs in general. I was actually super low on them at first, but now that I'm seeing the fruitfulness of them, I think they're actually necessary for the long-term health of the video game.
Our council's evolved over time too. It's going to get better. I do think council has gotten better over time, and it always was. Like, I mean, as a studio, we've gotten better. As a community, we've gotten more positive. As a decentralized organization, it's things are running more smoothly. We're getting closer to hitting the targets we said we would, and overall, just the sentiment right now is really, really positive.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll go ahead and wrap it up with this next question. I really appreciate it. I would love to keep you here forever, but
You just want to play the game. Let's be real.
yeah, fuck you. I want to go play the game, bro.
Woohoo!
But
all right.
This is a fun one though. This is something I've kind of been thinking about recently, but more specifically for you. 100 years from now, when we're all gone, what do you want humanity's perception to be of Illuvium, and what do you want your legacy to be as it pertains to Illuvium and you as a person? What's your dream scenario?
Oh, far out. Man, 100 years. That's so far. You've pushed it so far. Will humans even exist at that stage? Man,
Let's give it 50.
give it 50 years from now, man. I just hope people can look back and say, right, like there's still hope, right? Like there's every so often there's unicorns that emerge, like your Jurassic Parks, your Pokemons, these things that just last the test of time. I don't know. That's why we went into this, to be totally honest. Like that's what we wanted to do after the first week of it being a crappy NFT. As everyone knows the story, how it started out with Kieran wanting it to be some NFT profile picture thing, and then we were like, no, let's take this seriously. Like, what do we actually want to do? Whereas Kieran and I were just like, let's just do a modern Pokemon. Aaron was like, TFT sucks. Well, he didn't say it sucked. He was like, I think I can do it way better. And realistically, I'm not looking. I've already achieved my life goal. I think we've just built a world-class team. That to me, I never thought I'd be able to do that in my career. Sit there and have funding and the networking to be able to just build a team like this. That to me, I've already got the win. I already knew the team was going to pull it off if we had the time to do it. So I don't really need to think 150, 10 years from now, man. I just think like we've got the team. Team's not going anywhere. We could just keep doing cool shit. Where it
Wow.
takes us, who knows?
Nice. That's an incredibly wholesome answer. I love that.
Like, where do you think? Like, man, we're not going anywhere. I don't think we're going anywhere after this. If today happened and we had 300 people hating on the game, going, "Oh, it's crashing. What's going on?" You're like, "Ew, it's bail." But we didn't. We didn't.
I mean, even if it was crashing, I think it would still be fine because that's something you can work with. But yeah, that was an awesome answer. I love that. Yeah, Illuvium Inferno, by the way, December 2nd at 2 p.m. EST. Sign up. We have like 40 spots left.
Okay, get in there. And you're going to be casting it?
Yeah, I'll be casting it, kind of organizing it a little bit with Scoriox.
Okay, that's going to be exciting. I think you'll make a great caster. The thing I loved about Rocket League was watching people in the community just evolve as like professional casters who were just hosting like random tournaments and stuff like that. Like day oneers who just know the game and they know the hype behind it. They've got all the context. I think you'll do a great job of it, man. So like everyone in the community is loving you. Like it's, I think it's just good that everything's positive at the moment, bro. It really is.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of things were so negative for so long, and I mean that's just how a bear market goes and the building phase goes. And now that people are seeing
you never were
fruits, yeah,
but you were never negative, so appreciate it.
Yeah, I always try to be positive, and I think I really don't understand why people are negative to begin with because we saw the leaks, we saw what was being worked on, and now, wow, the game's good. Like I don't know, like
well, let's. You'll get your told you so on the 28th. You'll get your told you so.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, watching the tournament and stuff, it looks good. So I'm excited to get in and play some more. But
yep.
All right, I will let you go. I want you to fuck you, bitch. I want to let you know that I love and appreciate you, and thank you for coming on. I can't wait to talk to you some more.
You too.
See you
join
guys.
That tournament.
Yep, join the tournament. How you feeling? Oh shit, this kind of counters my whole team. Nice.
Maybe it does.
It's such a weird mind game where it's like both people want this. Yeah, see, it's like both people want this, but I'm gonna give this up so I can get this one.
We're both going. Have you seen the round 1 mind game?
Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure what you mean. Round 1 mind game. You mean like where you place your units? Fuck you, bitch. Get shit on. I knew what you were doing. Let's go.
Here we go.
Oh, I think you have a better weapon. Damn it. TSG did this to me last game.
What has he got in his team? Right. Don't need to play.
You might.
What have you got? What have you got? You don't have a lot. It's all water. Yeah. Like he puts a little baby beamer in.
Scoreboard.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Take it.
All right. What's next here?
God, I don't like these off angle. I don't like it at all. Surely you lose with water and tsunami. Surely.
Interesting.
The positioning's not great for me. This team's got to be very, 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 very precisely positioned, or it can go bad real quick. Come on.
Yeah, I think positioning is like everything, honestly, because I've felt, easy.
Okay.
I've had times where I felt like I was gonna win, but the positioning just screws you over.
Okay, so you've separated me there. That's it's not great. But the hyper, come on. Yeah, you're in trouble.
Oh, I am.
You're in big trouble.
Get the stun, bitch.
I mean,
no, I might win this.
There's no way you win this.
It depends right here.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Let's go.
There's no way.
Way, bro.
What the hell? What is she doing? What have you got on her?
It's I think they call it an IQ diff. No, fuck you.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Easy.
No!
I wasn't worried. I did it for the camera.
That's ridiculous.
I don't want any of these.
Man.
The class cards are always like so coin flippy.
Look at this. We're going back and forth here.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have let you have that one now that I think about it, but it's fine. Shit, that was not good placement. I thought you were gonna...
But just not doing a lot of damage to that.
Yeah, but the way I placed my stuff.
Yeah. You don't have a lot left here. That's going to be a big loss. That's going to be a real big loss.
That one's actually going to hurt a little bit.
Oh, alrighty. Love the back and forths.
But
like, here we go. That's not great for you. I don't think your beam's going to do much. Yeah, that's real bad for you.
Where's my saccharine, bro? Do something.
Your saccharine sack of sucks.
Yeah, this saccarine's a sack of shit. Yeah, GG. Fuck off. GG. I'm not putting that in the video, so it's fine.
You have to now. We've got a game on our hands, man.
Oh man, this is a